Hello, my dear students. Good morning. How are you all? I hope you all are fine and safe at your home. Welcome back to our science class. Today, we are going to discuss our second lesson, nutrition in animals. In a previous class, we learned our first lesson, nutrition in plants. We all know that plants are the only organisms that can able to synthesize their own food by using water, carbon dioxide and minerals. They can able to prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. But animals cannot. Animals get their food from plants either directly by eating plants or indirectly by eating animals that eat plants. Some animals that eat both plants and animals. We have learned in our previous classes about herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Dear children, did you remember what you mean by herbivores, carnivores and omnivores? Yes, herbivores means all plant-eating animals are called herbivores. Animals like cow, goat, sheep, horse are examples for herbivores. All plant-eating animals are called herbivores. Then the next category is carnivores. Carnivores means all flesh-eating animals. Animals like lion, tiger, cheetah and fox are eat the flesh of other animals. So, all flesh-eating animals are called carnivores. Then the last one is omnivores. Omnivores means some of the animals that eat both plant food and animal food are called omnivores. Animals like bear, pig, crow, dog and also human beings are examples for omnivores. They eat both plant food and animal food. That means all organisms, including human beings, require food for growth, repair and functioning of the body. Animal nutrition includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of food and its utilization in the body. Carbohydrate, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals and water are the components of food. These components of food are called nutrients. And nutrition is the process of the mode of taking of food by an organism and its utilization by the body. The main steps of nutrition is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. The first step in the process of nutrition is ingestion. Ingestion means the process of taking of food into the body by swallowing or absorbing it. The second process is digestion. Digestion means it is the breakdown of large insoluble food molecules into simpler water-soluble food molecules. Then the next step of nutrition is absorption and assimilation. Absorption means digested food molecules are absorbed in the small intestine. This means that they pass through the walls of the small intestine into our bloodstream. Assimilation means it is the movement of digested food molecules into the cell of the body where they are used. And the last one is egestion. Egestion means it is the act of excreting unusable or undigested material from a cell. So, my dear students, all of you remember the process of nutrition that include mainly 5 steps. The main steps of nutrition is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Next we are going to discuss about different ways of taking food. The mode of taking food in the body varies in different organisms. Bees and hummingbirds, they suck the nectar of plants. Infants of human and many other animals, they feed on mother's milk. Snakes, like the python, swallow the animals they prey upon. Snail that eat grass and its mode of feeding is chewing. Ant eat insects and the mode of feeding is scraping. Eagle eat flesh and its mode of feeding is swallowing. Lice and mosquito, these are eat blood, and butterfly that eat nectar, and its mode of feeding is sucking. Some of the modes are sucking, scraping, chewing, capturing and swallowing, etc. Different animals have different modes of taking their food. All of you look at the picture. The picture shows human digestive system. The journey of food that begins at the mouth and ends at the anus. The food passes through the process, it is called digestion. The human digestive system that consists of the gastrointestinal tract plus the accessory organs of digestion. In the process of digestion, where thus it is broken down completely till all the nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream and the waste is removed. Digestion involves the breakdown of food into smaller and smaller components until they can be absorbed and assimilated into the body. There are many organs involved in the process of digestion. There is a lot of activity that takes place in every organ. Here we can see the picture shows different organs involved in the process of digestion. All of you try to read together. Mouth, esophagus, stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, large intestine, small intestine, rectum and anus. The first one is mouth. Dear children, we begin digesting of food as soon as we put it in our mouth. Our teeth are powerful crushers that cut, chew, shred and grind the food. Our lips hold the food in. Our tongue that pushes the food inside the mouth as it mixes with the saliva. Teeth give our face its shape and help us to speak clearly. We bite anything we eat through teeth. Our teeth chop, shred and grind the food in the mouth so that we can swallow it well. Next we are going to discuss the growth of teeth. A newborn baby has no teeth and has to be fed only milk, soup and juice. A child gets its first teeth around the age of 6 to 7 months. By 2.5 years, the child has about 20 teeth. These are called milk teeth or temporary teeth. Children start losing their milk teeth around the age of 6 and lose all of them by the time they are 12 years old. So milk teeth are replaced by the permanent teeth. There are 32 permanent teeth in an adult with 16 teeth in each jaw. The different types of teeth are: the 32 are classified on the basis of their shape, size and their functions: incisors, canines, premolar and molar. First we are going to discuss about incisors. Incisors means there are 4 incisors in each jaw. It has sharp and straight edge. We use our incisors to bite into and cut the food we eat. They are usually the first teeth that appear at around 6 months of age. Next one is canines. They are placed one on both the sides of the incisors. We have 4 canines in all, 2 in each jaw. These teeth are pointed and sharp to help to tear the food. Next one is premolars. We have 4 premolars in each jaw next to the canines. They are usually used for cracking, chewing, and grinding the food. They are broad and flat. Then the last one is molars. We have 6 molars in each jaw. These are situated next to the premolars. The last molars, also called wisdom teeth. Molars are used for chewing and grinding the food. Next one is the parts of a tooth. The portion of the tooth that can be seen above the pink gum is called the crown. The crown is the white and visible part of the tooth, whereas the part of the tooth that is inside the gum, it is called root of the tooth. The tooth is firmly fixed in the gum. There is a hard and white covering of the tooth which protect the tooth from decaying. This is called enamel, and it made up of phosphorus and calcium. Next one is about tooth decay. If we do not clean our teeth and mouth after eating, many harmful bacteria also begin to live and grow in it. These bacteria break down the sugars present from the leftover food and release acids. These acids gradually damage the teeth. This is called tooth decay. Its start feeding on them and also harm the tooth enamel. Slowly, small cavities or holes are start to forming. Our teeth are powerful crushers that cut, chew, shred and grind the food. We have salivary glands in our mouth and cheeks, which secrete a liquid that is called saliva. It contains many enzymes which moisten the food and break it down into small particles, thus making it soft and smooth like paste. The tongue, which has actually a powerful muscles that moves the food towards the back of the mouth and pushes the food into the esophagus. This process is called swallowing. Okay. The next important part is esophagus. Esophagus, it is a long, thin tube which transports the food from the mouth to the stomach. This tube, it is inside our neck. It is about 25 cm long in an adult. It is also called the gullet or food pipe. It has strong muscles. The strong muscles in the walls of the tube that squeeze and push the food down into the stomach. It has a muscular wall which stops the food from the stomach to re-enter the mouth. These are the processes that takes place in the mouth and buccal cavity. So, dear students, all of you take your textbook and open page number 11. The name of our second lesson is Nutrition in Animals. First lesson, we discussed about nutrition in plants. We can see plants prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Only plants can able to prepare their own food. All of you try to read together. Plants can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, but animals cannot. Animals get their food from plants either directly by eating plants or indirectly by eating animals that eat plants. Some animals eat both plants and animals. Here we can classify the animals on the basis of their feeding habits into three. Which are the three types? Yes, herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Herbivores means the plant eating animals are called herbivores. Cow, horse are examples for herbivorous animals. And the next one is carnivores. Carnivores means flesh eating animals. There are some animals that eat other animals. It is called carnivores. Lion, tiger, cheetah are examples for carnivorous animals. And there are some other animals that eat both plants and animals. It is called omnivores. Here we can see pig, human beings, crow are examples for omnivores. All organisms that including humans require food for growth, repair and functioning of the body. Animal nutrition that includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of food and its utilization of the body. Then the next one is different ways of taking food. The mode of taking food into the body varies in different organisms. We already discussed about the feeding habits of bees, hummingbird, human, snakes, lice, snail, ant, eagle, etc. Take next page. Here we are going to discuss digestion in humans. We take in food through the mouth, digest and utilize it. The unused parts of the food are defecated. Have you ever wondered what happens to the food inside the body? Yes, the food passes through a continuous canal which begins at the buccal cavity and ends at the anus. The canal can be divided into various compartments. The first one is buccal cavity, then food pipe or esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine that ending in the rectum and the anus. It is not a very long path. These parts together form the alimentary canal or digestive tract. The main steps of nutrition is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Digestion means it is the breakdown of large insoluble food molecules into simpler water-soluble food molecules. Dear children, all of you listen carefully. The picture shows the journey of food that begins at the mouth and ends at the anus. The food that passes through the process, it is called digestion. There are many organs are involved in the process of digestion. Here we can see buccal cavity, salivary gland, esophagus, liver, gallbladder, stomach, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. There is a lot of activities that takes place in every organ. The human digestive system that consists of gastrointestinal tract plus the accessory organs of digestion. Digestion means that involves the breakdown of food into smaller and smaller components until they can be absorbed and assimilated in the body. The first part is the mouth and buccal cavity. Food is taken into the body through the mouth. The process of taking food into the body, it is called ingestion. All of you underline the sentence. Food is taken into the body through the mouth. The journey of the food begins at the mouth. And the process of taking of food into the body, it is called ingestion. Okay, underline the sentence. The process of taking food into the body, it is called ingestion. We chew the food with the teeth and break it down mechanically into small pieces. Each tooth is rooted in a separated socket in the gums. Our teeth vary in appearance and perform different functions. Accordingly, they are given different names. Here we can see we have two types of teeth in our life journey, milk teeth and permanent teeth. Do you remember about falling off your teeth some years ago? Yes, the first set of teeth grows during infancy and they fall off at the age between 6 to 8 years. These are termed milk teeth. The second set that replace them there are called the permanent teeth. The permanent teeth may last throughout life or fall off during old age or due to some dental disease. Here we can see we can divide teeth into four: incisors, canines, premolars and molars. The first one is incisors. Incisors means there are four incisors in each jaw. It has straight and sharp edge. We use our incisors to bite into and cut the food we eat. They are usually the first teeth that appear at around 6 months of age. And the second one is canines. Canines means they are placed on both sides of incisors, and we have 4 canines in all, 2 in each jaw. These teeth are pointed and sharp and it helps to tear the food. Then the next one is premolar. Premolars, we have 4 premolars in each jaw next to the canines. They are usually used for cracking, chewing and grinding the food. They are broad and flat. And the last one is molars. Molars means we have 6 molars in each jaw. They are situated next to the premolars. The last molars also called wisdom teeth. Okay, the last molars also known as wisdom teeth. Molars are used for chewing and grinding the food. Take next page. Our mouth has the salivary glands which secrete saliva. Here we can see one experiment to understand the function of saliva. Saliva has a major role in digestion. Here we can see 2 test tubes. In test tube A, we add 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice, and in test tube B, keep 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice after chewing it for 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, all of you listen. In a test tube A, we add 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice, and in test tube B, keep 1 teaspoonful of boiled rice after chewing it for 3 to 5 minutes. Then we added water on both the test tube and 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution. Here we can see the results. However, after some time, the solution in which saliva, that is in a test tube B, the saliva was added fades and turns white. Why does this happen? Yes, the saliva added that breaks down the starch and it converts into small sugar molecules. And once the conversion of starch to sugar molecules happens, color changes back. The saliva that break down the starch into sugar molecules. Okay. Here we can see the experiment that shows the importance of saliva in the process of digestion. Then all of you try to read. The tongue is a fleshy muscular organ attached at the back to the floor of the buccal cavity. It is free at the front and can be moved in all directions. Do you know the function of the tongue? Yes, we use our tongue for talking. Besides, it makes saliva with the food during chewing and helps in swallowing food. We also taste food with our tongue. It has taste buds that detect different tastes of food. We know that our tongue pushes the food inside the mouth and as it mixes with the saliva. We have salivary glands in our mouth and cheeks which secrete a liquid. It is called saliva and it contains many enzymes which moisten the food and break down into smaller particles, thus making it soft and smooth like a paste. The tongue, which has actually a powerful muscle that moves the food towards the back of the mouth and pushes the food into esophagus. This process it is called swallowing. Okay. Then the next part is the food pipe or esophagus. The swallowed food passes into the food pipe or esophagus. Here we can see the picture of esophagus and the movement of the food in the esophagus of the alimentary canal. Esophagus, it is a long, thin tube which transports the food from the mouth to the stomach. This tube is inside our neck. It is about 25 cm long in adult. It is also called the gullet or food pipe. The food that is passes from the mouth through the tube and this tube is called esophagus and it helps to transport the food from the mouth to the stomach. Okay children. So dear students, all of you try to read the lesson carefully and understand the process of digestion in human beings. Today we discuss about the process that takes place in buccal cavity and esophagus. Tomorrow we will discuss the rest of the part that involved in the process of digestion. Okay children, see you next class. Thank you.